What up, dudes, and welcome back to the YoVG Games podcast Sidequest, where we take a subject that maybe didn't have enough to cover in a full episode or a question from you guys, and we'll answer it here.
And this is sort of the post Valentine's Day, but Valentine's Day episode. So it's a whole episode on lubes, viscosity, the nitty gritty, and ideally not gritty lube you're going to use for
Yeah, I
all
don't
of
think
your
you want any
pleasure.
exfoliant in your lube.
I mean, unless you're into some weird shit. I don't know. You might want coffee and lube. But our question actually comes from Jamester, and Jamester, we're getting to it a week later than Valentine's Day because both of us were out of town for Valentine's Day. But Jamester writes, I have a topical question for y'all since it's the season. What do you think are good date or couples games besides Kirby? Now, I I have a theory about this exact topic, and it
Mhm.
leads into how I would plan dates when I was a single man. Um, and basically, what you want to focus on is something that you can learn quick. It can be fun, mildly competitive, but can be the focus of all the conversation if it needs to be. Right? You're on a date, you know what to talk about. You can easily talk about something as dumb as Fall Guys or like even Shredder's Revenge is a good one. It's a good just couch co-op. Like you can get into some Ninja Turtles, even if they've never seen Ninja Turtles before ever.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd be dating this person because what the fuck. But if they've never seen Ninja Turtles, pretty easy to get it. You know, they don't have to be amazing at games to get through that game. Guacamelee. Elise and I played that on stream, and Elise gets sort of nervous with people watching her play, and she still did great at that game. So it's something you can pick up. Um, Among Us, another good one. You know, this is just like games that don't require you to one be paying attention super hard. Don't require like a big skill, like no skill gap games. Personally, I would not pick a game that has like a big skill
Yeah.
gap.
So don't play
Um,
fighting games unless
unless your
she's
date's really into fighting
really
games.
into fighting games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then that's awesome. I mean, really, it's like if you're going on a date and you know you're both into games or you like games enough, use games to figure out if you're going to like that person. Because a date should be just as much about you figuring out if you like them as much as it is about you trying to convince them
Yeah.
to like you.
Now, I'm probably a bit of a hypocrite because like I spent a lot of my Valentine's week playing Soul Calibur 2.
And
Um,
kicking the shit out of Nadia.
no,
No, you were
not at all.
she was beating you.
Oh no, oh no, we went back and forth. Like
Hell yeah.
there was a good few moments where I was just getting walloped on. Um,
Oh, okay.
because she got a mean Keelik.
Did
Um,
either of you get it on video?
no,
Like, I
no,
suck at fighting games, but I would like to root for someone kicking your ass.
yeah, no, but that's great. But like again, it's like no the person. If you don't know, then don't jump into like a highly competitive game beforehand. But like
Do not get salty with your date. No
yeah.
one's gonna touch your
Hey,
dick.
that was the weird thing is like when I was at Galloping Ghost recently, which
You
you all should
bitch.
visit. There was this guy doing that. Like he was with his date or girlfriend or something, and this guy was like he reminded me. He looked and sounded so much like the guy in Breaking Bad who's just like shooting at cows at one point. Um, yeah, he has
Why do
that
I not
meme where
remember?
he's just like tight, 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 whatever.
Oh yeah,
He's like the really like over eccentric whatever guy early on in the series. It was in like a trailer or something.
yeah. I know who you're talking about. He's a bad guy, right? He's one of
Yeah,
the yeah.
yeah. Um,
God, that actor's great, and he always plays characters like that.
and he's this guy was just like oh yeah, he was just he would be like getting almost genuinely upset if he was like getting his ass kicked at like Street Fighter. Um,
Was
you
his
know,
date equally into it, or
I
was his
don't
date
know.
like,
Like she wasn't like well, it wasn't kind of like oh my god, can we go now? It wasn't like anything like that. I think she was genuinely like trying. She was trying to keep up and then act sometimes surpassing, and then this guy. It was just kind of like crazy to like. I'm like, okay. I mean, I hope they're well. I hope these people were like well established because if this was a first date, I'm like, oof.
if they're both very into it, nothing better. I mean, if you can
Right.
both bond over being very competitive,
Yeah.
cool. One thing that like I personally, I don't want to be roasted the whole time, especially like we give each other some shit, but if you're just roasting me the entire time and expect me at the end of the night to think that it's a success, like no, I'm just gonna think you don't like me. Like
Right.
if you're just bullying me the whole night, like I'm
Mhm.
not that will not make me come.
You know what was
Uh,
great though was and I don't know, again, if you live in around Chicago and you wanna go on, like, a date, and go to Galloping Ghost, there's a game there called The First Funky Fighter. It's whack-a-mole. So there's 9, like, big giant buttons, right? On this table. They light up, right? 3 by 3 grid. And there's a screen which corresponds to where the 3 by 3 buttons are below it. And there's a two-player mode. A versus where it's like take turns style.
right.
And it's this hyper violent, gory game where you punch the shit out of sharks and alligators. Um,
I I like. Yes.
and and it's whack-a-mole, so you kind of like have to like hit them in timing, and there's bosses and there's boss fights, and and then there's like competition things where like press the buttons in succession, who can punch through like the stone tablets, stuff like that, little mini bonus games.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I got my ass kicked, my the first time we played. Um but the
So
game
you're
is
saying
great.
she's got reflexes like a ninja.
Of course,
These are
yeah, like
strong, so she can kick your ass in Soul Calibur, and she's got reflexes like a ninja. These are strong selling points for a date. See, these are the things you can learn
yeah.
about your significant other or your date if you do things like this. Me
Yeah.
personally, I was always a big fan of like mini golf.
I don't know if you'll ever find it, but there was also this game I could never beat her at called Armadillo Racing, and it has a giant trackball. You play as these armadillos running around a race course, and it's that Galloping Ghost. And
And
you
you're
basically,
rolling the okay.
yeah, you have to roll and then like kind of like roll it left or right depending on how the course goes or whatever. I could never beat it. She just could never beat it, and it's
I,
fine, but it was just kind of like this is. I was really enjoying it. It's just because it's so silly. That's the
like
thing too, is that like when you have a game that's like it's kind of a little bit fun, a little bit silly, like Armadillo Racing. It's not sitting there kind of like this Mortal Kombat thing where Shao Kahn is just like you suck. Like the game is not.
yeah, you're not getting torn up inside. Your
Yeah,
worth.
like
Don't pick a game that your value is connected to, and also don't pick a game that you're absolutely going to trash your date at because nobody has fun getting the absolute shit kicked out of them. Well,
yeah.
some people have fun getting the shit kicked out of them, so I guess if you're into that. But I did a. Did you ever watch Entrapment? That movie Entrapment
Don't believe so.
with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Sean Connery, and where she dips beneath lasers.
No,
Okay, it's a deeply sexual scene. It
this
shouldn't be
sounds like a
sexual.
'90s is shit movie. Is what it sounds like.
It's a pretty well, I don't know if it's in the 90s, but if it is, it's the late 90s. But she's a thief working with another thief, and like there's a part where she's practicing by going all under all these lasers and stuff, and oh my god, she looks so hot. But there's this arcade that Elise and I went to for a Valentine's Day that had a big laser room that would like
Hmm.
set you'd have to get to the other side of the room and you could race your significant other, your date, or whoever to get to the little thing, and you hit the buzzer at the end, the thing you got to steal. And we did that for almost like an hour straight. We just did that over and over again because it's all randomized by
Oh,
how
very
and like
cool.
sometimes they can move and stuff. You can watch, so
Hmm.
they pump a bunch of like fog into the room, and like you can have the lasers moving and shit. Um, just a really good time if you want something that's physical. Um, mildly physical. I got ridiculous at one point, and then she did a cartwheel through it. It was some bullshit. She showed off real hardcore. She's
It's
very fit. She
amazing.
was doing MMA fighting at the time competitively, and so she was really just like legit kicking my ass physically. She could just do that shit. And she did ballet. So I'm sitting there just like dad groaning my way through. I was 23. I wasn't dad groaning. I was lean. I was dad groaning my way through this thing. Okay. I was 163 pounds and just fucking feeling every inch of this dipping and diving and ducking, but she's just gracefully ballerinaing through. So that was very cool. But also made me realize that like I will never be a cat burglar. And that hurt my ego. So don't do that on a
I
date.
mean,
Don't do that.
some dreams you just gotta let go.
I
But
guess, I guess so.
Yeah, I guess again, like the question of what's a good date game or what's a good dating game or couples game is hard to gauge because you really got to like everyone's different. It's kind of like everyone comes at everything different with different skill sets, different skills. Mario Kart's always kind of a good one just because it's inoffensive, it's
Right.
colorful, it's bullshit. Um,
But God help you
yeah,
if you hit your date with a blue shell.
anyone can get blue shelled. So you might be way better, and then you're gonna get blue shelled, and you're gonna die at the end. So,
I
um,
do love that. You're not a fan of Mario Party, but I feel like Mario Party is a good one too.
oh no, I think Mario Party is if you never want to see that date again.
Again, what I'm saying though is like you select the game based on what you want to know about your date because dating has a purpose. Yes, it should be very fun, but also find something out about your date. Uh, Again, don't pick something that's going to piss both of you off or one of you off or anything
So
like that. But
that's
like,
why you don't play Mario Party.
no, if you want to find out how they handle anger, you're on date three and you're all like, all right, let's see how they handle some conflict. Let's jump into that shit.
But I think what's underappreciated is co-op because like I think Jamester mentioned Kirbo, and it's like yeah, Kirby's great because the co-op aspect of it, and that's why like Turtles is great
Right.
because of the co-op. Streets of
Another
Rage,
great one.
old
Right.
super classic. Um,
Any
play
of those games are going to be good.
play a co-op game. Like me and my girlfriend we played Die Hard Arcade.
What?
Um,
Wait, what? There's
yeah,
an arcade. There's a Die Hard arcade game.
What? How do you not know about this? It's a
I have
Sega.
never name one fucking arcade in our area that has a Die Hard arcade game.
Okay, so it used to be. Well, I guess. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. Okay? Do you remember where the arc light was?
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to have one at the B Dubs or no the Fuddruckers that was there
Okay. Well, yeah,
or was gone.
but that's not that local. That's not somewhere I'm going to spend time every fucking like.
I know
Wasn't it
it's a
family
little out of
fun?
the way, but I mean, is an arc light? Was it? Yeah, it was at Family Fun at some
It was
point.
not at family fun.
I guarantee you, it was at Family Fun at some point.
I went to there. I have gone to family fun. Oh, okay, well, there's a few year period there where I wasn't going, I guess. So, all right, we'll say it's
It
fair,
would
but I
not have been
never
a
once bought.
mainstay, let's put it that way, but it was probably there in some capacity at some
So, is
point.
it good?
Oh yeah, it's great. Oh, it's fantastic actually because it has like Virtua Fighter moves. Like you can do like all kinds of different move sets and grapples and everything. It's great.
So, it's not a shooting game.
No, it's a beat 'em up.
So, who's your is someone playing as Winston? Is it Winston? Why am I why am I
No, it's
blanking on the
it's
cop's name?
it's, it's John McClane and some random police chick because the thing is, it's not a Die Hard game. It was called Dynamite Deca in Japan. Someone looked at it and went like, that kind of looks like Die Hard. So they slapped the Nakatomi Plaza logo on some floor textures and literally just said it's Die Hard.
That's incredible.
Because it's like you have to infiltrate this big giant corporate building. That is the plot of the game. Like the guy, like the bad guy who's absolutely nothing like he's like this bald guy with a beard, like a silver beard.
Oh
Um,
yeah, bald in the beard. What an asshole.
well, it's not Hans Gruber. It's not Alan Rickman. He's trying to break into a safe, but he's like the plot is he's looking for the daughter of the president because she has the password to the safe or whatever. And like you fight him on the top of the building, and he rips his shirt off, and he has a fucking katana. It's dumb. It has nothing to do with. It really has nothing to do with Die Hard. But like
I
it just like building cop goes in and yeah, like terrorists are trying to like crack open a safe. It's Die Hard. Yeah.
part of me sort of gets it though. I do sort of get it. All right, I'll let that slide, but
I mean,
I have never
it's a
once
more
played that.
grounded game than the last Die Hard movie,
Everything's more
plot
grounded
wise.
than the last Die Hard movie. Yeah.
So
Um, my
it
God,
was one
beat
of
'em
the
ups are
first
good.
games to have not the first game to have QTEs because like Dragon's Lair is QTEs, but like when you think of Resident Evil style QTEs RE4, that game Die Hard Arcade in like 96 or 5 or whatever had those QTEs. It would load a cutscene and you'd be running through a hallway and all of a sudden like punch 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 or jump flashes up and you got to like clothesline a guy, as you run past them or jump over something.
The true test of a relationship, like you really want to find out, you play DDR together.
Oh hell yeah!
You just get in there and find out all you need to know. How do they deal with embarrassment? Put on a real hard song, you know? Just get
I mean, the real hard song is just like, yeah, you lose. Like, it's almost no point. I mean, especially if you could find the ones that use the Connect or like the full dance floor now that the whole dance floor is a big giant like touchpad. They have those at round ones. Those are great. Um, honestly, I
Are
don't
those
know.
DDRs though, or are they
Some of them are like they're not called Dance
they're
Dance
like the
Revolution,
knockoff?
but
Yeah,
they
they
well they are from Konami. Some of them,
hmm, cool.
so they're like Dance Central or whatever dance. Honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the best fucking date games, dating series, House of the Dead.
Yes, obviously.
Fucking dead serious.
Got everything you need in there.
One of
Time
the
Crisis is another good
Time
one.
Crisis. If they don't got House of the Dead, Time Crisis is good too. But House of the Dead in particular, because House of the Dead is one of the greatest games. It's the greatest light gun shooter series of all time, bar none. But like it's just
So good.
it's one of the greats because it's zombies. It's a little bit spooky, but it's fun because you don't just hit someone, like you blow chunks of them off, blow
Right.
holes in them, blow like limbs off or whatever.
It's got
It's
goofiness to it.
it is cheesy as all fuck. Like
Yeah.
it's a perfect dating game. Like it's funny because there is a House of the Dead game, almost for couples in Japan, called House of the Dead EX. It's a really like weirdly it's basically okay. Do you remember the game? Um, not I want to call it Panic Attack. Panic. Shoot, it was from the Time Crisis people. Um,
I don't remember this one. Is this the one with the machine guns? It's like the Time
no, no, no,
Crisis.
not that's Raising Storm.
Oh, okay.
Um, I Panic Attack, I think is what it was called. Hold on, let me look at it up.
Is
Just
it
a
just
minute.
you just like when you step on the lever, it shoots some electricity up and your heart hurts a little bit? You think you can't breathe?
What was it called?
Well, now the people want to know.
Yeah, now I want to know. Oh my god, Lucky and Wild, if it worked. Point Blank. I don't know why I'm thinking Panic from. Point Blank. So if you remember this series called Point Blank, it was basically like Mario Party with a light gun. So
Really?
it was just a round of a bunch of like you use the light gun for all these different types of competitive minigame things.
Oh, I
Um,
think I know what you're talking
like
about.
the little Bert
Yeah.
and Ernie looking guys.
Yes.
Point Blank, wonderful. And in Japan, they had a game called House of the Dead EX, which was a sort of point blank version of House of the Dead. I even had a pedal, I believe. I saw it once, and it's funny because like it even has like a zombie couple. Very
Huh.
cartoony. It's very very cartoony with the art style and the character designs and everything. Not like the other games, but yeah,
Is it
like
EX because it's your ex that you're playing? That is your character? Just
I
like,
don't know. It's extra or something like that. It's
oh,
like other than the fact that like it has like I guess you could call it a zombie motif. I don't know what else denotes it as a quote unquote House of the Dead game because it's really nothing like House of the Dead. It's very much like Mario Party met House of the Dead. It only came out in Japan.
well,
So
I'll
bummer,
tell you
but
what.
there's a lot of House of the Dead 1, 2, and 4 machines floating around out there.
Oh, yeah.
Anywhere. House of the Dead. I'm gonna put my foot down on it. My two number one games are Ninja Turtles or X-Men Arcade, and House of the Dead. Those are the perfect. I feel at least in the arcade, those are the perfect dating games.
I think that's
And
solid. Yeah.
and again, if you're early on in your dating, like first time, second time, whatever, dating a person, it's better to go to a round one, or a Dave and Buster's
Yeah.
rather than hey, come over. Like it can get that can get a little sketchy if like your first date, come over to my place, sit on my couch and play video games with me. One, it sounds terrible, but two, it also sounds potentially like creepy. So
What are you
go to
talking
an
about?
arcade.
It's all in how you say it. You come over, we'll play video games. I'd be so good to you. There I'd be, Just being good to you.
But yeah, like go around one, get some snacks, wherever there's bowling there too.
Hell
Um,
yeah. Everybody loves bowling.
I mean,
If they don't love bowling,
there's a lot of great things to do, besides video games. Well, we're talking about video games. We're a video games podcast. So I'm gonna say right now, like
you're a lube podcast.
I think House of the Dead is one of the best. And if you want to get a little competitive, it's not so much like video game, but it is in arcades. The fucking shooty hoops,
Oh yeah. Yeah, dumb fun.
shooty hoop skee ball shit. It's always a good time.
Yeah, you can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
Good environment.
And again, when like you want to when you're going into, okay, well, what about when like console stuff? I'd probably still say Mario Kart. Mario Kart's like the safest fucking bet possible.
There's a lot of the
Um,
Switch games that'll be good.
yeah, 1-2 switches. I'm waiting for it. Just come on, say it,
I wasn't I was it never even occurred to me to say 1-2 switch.
bro.
Although
How do you
the
know how much
sandwich
you go
eating
for some
the
sandwich
sandwich
eating or
eating
cow milking?
yeah, I mean, and it now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, actually, yes.
Yeah.
It's too bad you can't get that used. Everybody holds on to it. It really retains value. It's gonna be a collector's item one day.
You know what we gotta do? We gotta have a day like the last whenever Nintendo, announces a new console, which might be, in the heat death of the universe. Um, Whenever they do actually announce a new console, the last day, the day before the new console comes out, we gotta play 1-2 Switch again. Like have a big 1-2 Switch
Yes.
stream.
I'm down. I'll have to get it out of the old vault,
We have to like
you know?
start it and end it right there on 1-2 Switch.
Truly the beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega.
Indeed.
All
Like
right. James, sir, I hope we sufficiently answered your question. Maybe we gave you some ideas. And maybe, just maybe, if you play the right game and have the right amount of fun, you get your dick touched. I want that for you, James, sir.
well,
Tell
let's
me
be
about it.
fair here, or whatever, just whatever you want touched, depending on, your gender identity,
Touche. Your genitalia. All right, guys, we'll catch you next time.